Welcome back to the Frugal Gardener's Garden. It is a brisk fall morning in the hills of West Virginia. I am the Frugal Gardener, and today is going to be my final fall tour, or at least my final fall tour for outdoors, because if you've been following my channel, you know that I recently put up my greenhouse. So I have a lot of good things going on in there. I haven't been able to use it for a while because it was too doggone hot, but the weather has cooled off. So let's go through what's still growing out here. And the next video or the next few videos are going to be indoors. This, this turned out better than what I expected it to. This is mint, and the original goal was to have other vegetables growing in here, and also lavender. So the lavender has grown, but this is really a lot more than what I expected on the mint. I know that it can be invasive. My little 10-year-old nephew comes out and helps me harvest some of the mint leaves so that we can make mint tea. And what I'm going to probably do with this is to harvest the rest of this, dry it out, and use it throughout the winter. Now, I hope you guys stick with me on this video, because at the very end, I'm going to show you something new, something different, something that I've only seen a couple other content creators do. And it's something that I am growing for the first time. Something that I think we all use, and you guys, when you see it, it's something that you might try also. But in the meantime, I'm going to start, let's start here. This is Jamaican sorrel. I always start these late, and it ends up biting me in the butt, because what you're after are these buds here that come up in the fall. Not sure if I'm giving you guys a good shot of this, but these grow this time of year. Now, I'm going to take this into my greenhouse, and maybe that'll buy me enough time to get some buds so that I can make tea. This was a new addition this spring. You can see right here, it's a peach tree. The weather's been changing. It's been down in the 40s at night. So I expect this to die back. And when the spring comes, I have quite a few things that I'm going to be putting into the ground. This is one of them. I have some other things I'm about to show you. I have a blueberry bush, and well, I'll just show it to you shortly when it comes. Now, here's the deal. I can see these are kind of dying off. I was hoping that I would get beans. These are bush beans. And I have been harvesting them from behind me up on the hill, but these have taken longer than what I expected. So the question becomes, are these going to be worth moving into the greenhouse? And I'm thinking, I don't know. What do you think? Is it too late? Has it gotten too cold? Or should I go ahead and give it a shot? Because I have quite a few of these. I planted bush beans all over the place. And this is just one of the locations. I planted them in 4 or 5 other places, including up here. If I can give you guys a better look. But this is, these are also bush beans up here. I'm really happy with the way this worked out. A lot of things went well for me this year, so I have very little to complain about. Back over here, these are, this is my lonely blueberry bush, and I'm going to get several more to go with this come the spring. This was a real shocker for me, because This is first year, well, first year for me, and you probably recognize these. These are actual figs. These are in containers. Everything up here are in containers. And for me to get figs the first year, I mean, of course, they're not big enough to harvest or to eat, but this is all, everything you see here is going into the ground next spring. And this is my first grapevine. I had 3, 2 did well, 1 didn't make it. So everything you see here, I'm going to add to. And this is a new addition. This definitely has to go into the greenhouse. These are carrots. I like growing carrots in these dish pans and these containers because they're just the right height. And the problem is keeping them warm enough and moist enough to germinate. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on these, especially when I put them in the greenhouse, because it's so, so hot in there. Temperature is still going up into the 80s and 90s during the day. So I'm going to have to make sure that these stay moist. Lots of successes this year, but I did have a couple of failures. And this is my 6x8 bed. I am really proud of this. This was built by my family for me. I designed it, they built it, and I did get a decent haul of sweet potatoes out of this, well, about a month ago. I also grew some white potatoes, and there were also elephant garlic. And what I did was I came back, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I planted collard greens and I planted cabbage, and all this, excuse me, I don't know what this is. If you know what it is, let me know. It's not just regular crabgrass. And so here you can see the collard greens coming up here, and there's a row right along here. So my original thought was to turn my chickens loose and let them eat all this, but now that I see I am actually getting some greens coming up, I'm going to end up doing what I don't like to do, which is a lot of bending, and I'm going to save these. This is a good shot here. There's some coming up here, and I'm going to rip this out, and I'm going to replant this area here, but I'm going to try and free up this area so that I can plant more and so that these guys can grow. Now, so back to the good stuff, the positive stuff. I've been harvesting green beans from here, bush beans. This is the netting that I had over it, and it's worked pretty well. These are the last of my beans. I've gotten a couple of decent harvests out of here, but well, here's some here, over here. There's a couple in here. There's enough for one more meal for a couple. So this time of year, I mean, we're about a week left in October. So I'm going to rip all this out. I'm going to feed the plants to my chickens, and I'm going to take those beans and we're going to make a meal out of those. And I think what I'm going to probably do is replace this with cabbage. I know it's almost November. People will start planting cabbage in zone 7A, which is where I am, around late August, early September. But I have a solution for that, and that is I started mine indoors. So I have starters that I can put out here, and I'm guessing, I don't know, 3, maybe 4. What do you think? So I'm going to put those out. Hoops are already up, and I'm going to put covering. This is what I use over here. Give you a better look. Because it's not acclimated, because the starters aren't acclimated to being outside, I'm going to cover it with this frost cloth, or one like it. This is kind of large for this for this space. So I'm going to put the frost cloth on it, and that should hopefully keep it protected until it roots and until it gets strong enough to withstand the cooler temperatures. So bad news, good news. This is an example. I like to show you guys everything, even the mistakes, the misses, which I had a lot of the first summer that I was up here. Well, actually, this is my second real summer. So the first summer I doesn't really count, I guess, because I wasn't really up here full time. And at any rate, I've learned that I have to put netting or cover everything. But if you see, this has been decimated. And the reason why is because it was not fully covered. I know this is probably difficult for you guys to see, but because I didn't properly cover this, the deer, I'm guessing it was deer, just pushed this over and got in and pretty much had a little snack and wiped this out, which I expected to have some sort of loss, which is the reason why I planted so many. But here's the difference, because you just come over here and I planted the same thing, but again, trying to get you guys a good shot. There. These beans came up nicely, so I'm going to harvest these also today. And the same situation. These did not. This is starting to come off. I'm going to have to put this back over. I'm going to try and cover this with the same material, the frost cloth, and hope that I can get more beans out of this. So we'll see what happens with that. So right now, this is my favorite part of the garden. This has been the workhorse for me this summer, this spring and summer. And I'm going to take you inside to show you what's going on in here. But I have, these were flowers that I planted in the spring. These were basically here to attract the birds and the bees. But look, there's still a couple of small cherry tomatoes growing in here, which again, I am really surprised because this pretty much is kaput now. This is pretty much done for the season. And trying to get inside this gate here. Okay, so these are bell pepper plants. Well, I say plants plural because I have about 4 or 5 of these. I'm going to overwinter these. So again, these are going into the greenhouse, and this is the inside of what I showed you a minute ago. We have a week left, and it's going to be November. We have had an unusually mild fall, and I'm going to take these, put those in the window. But there's a couple of them. They're small this time of year, but these guys, they were phenomenal all summer long. I cannot complain. So originally, I was going to plant carrots in here. Actually, I did. And there's one of my neighbors going by. I did plant carrots in here. It didn't really work out. If you look close, you'll see. There you go. Right in here, I had a couple that came up. But again, if you follow my channel, you know I don't like doing a lot of bending. I am in my 70s, so it's not one of my fun things. So what I did was put down some lawn cloth, and this needs a little bit of work. I haven't been out here for a couple days, and you'll see this on this side here is red cabbage. Guys, I'm getting better at labeling things. I used to really suck at labeling things that I had to sit there and guess what it is. So this is red cabbage, and on the other side here is regular cabbage. I have 1, 2, 3 more spaces that I can add stuff to. I'm going to rip this stuff out in the middle, hence the reason why I have the lawn cloth to begin with, because this was getting overgrown like the other raised bed that I showed you guys a minute ago, and I cannot afford to let that happen over here because it'll choke out what I'm trying to grow. Now I will also put a hoop covering over this until these plants get a little bit bigger, or I'll put the hoops up so that when we do have a cold front, I can just cover it over, and that way they won't be in any danger of dying. So yeah, this is a definite plus. Looks a little bit raggedy, but it's working. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I have 8 plants in here so far. So this is another win. So this, my friends, is where all the action is going to be this winter, or at least 90% of it. Everything that I showed you earlier that is not harvested, I have those 2 beds, and well, the trees and vines, they aren't going to be doing anything in the winter. But this is my new out sunny greenhouse, and we had a storm the other day. You can see the wind's picking up now, but I was kind of laxed, and I didn't have this thing secured the way I was supposed to. There was a windstorm on the way, so I just kind of took whatever I had and put it around the perimeter. It's worked out well. So I've named this my Homestead Hideaway Hangout, the Triple H. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because this is something else that I have going this winter. This is something that you guys probably aren't familiar with. I mean, yes, you probably recognize the fact this is cabbage, but this is cone cabbage. I may have to take a couple of these out in order to have room for these to grow properly. But right now there's what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 or 11 of these in here. The reason why I grow cone cabbage is because of the space. Because cone cabbage grows primarily up instead of out. So vertical instead of horizontal. This is the one of the window boxes I was telling you about. I like to use the large ones, but still, this is probably going to be not large enough to grow all these in. So yeah, that is, and next to the last thing that I wanted to show you guys. So I did promise you something different towards the end, and here it is. This is wheat, or at least it will be. This is my first time growing wheat, and I'll tell you what my motivation was, and it'll probably be the same as yours if you decide to follow suit, and that is the price of bread. I know how to bake my own bread. I've baked bread, I don't know, for a couple of years now. I've taught my 10-year-old nephew how to bake bread. These are skills that we're going to need, especially with the way things are going these days. Now, what I kind of did it the lazy man's method, because I knew, and it turned out to be correct for for once, that all this was going to die down. So I did not clean this area out first. I just threw a bunch of seeds down. I planted these 3 or 4 weeks ago, and you'll see there's patches here, there's patches along here. So I came back and I reseeded this area. So those are going to come up, and this is going to be full of wheat. Yes, it's green now. It's going to get a lot taller and it's going to turn brown. The reason why I waited so long out of all my years of gardening to try this is, well, there's a couple of reasons. One, because bread wasn't ridiculously high. I mean, I was in the supermarket the other day, and some brands of bread are over $4, which is insane. And if you've been around for a while, if you're over 40, you can probably remember when bread was 79 cents and maybe even less than that. So again, if you remember, cheap bread, you can put that down in the comments. So the people that maybe haven't been around as long as us, you can get an idea of how much the price is going up. There's no way you can convince me that in order for them to make a profit, they need to charge you $4 for a loaf of bread. Anyway, I digress. The thing is, this is going to give me enough for probably one loaf. Yeah, it takes quite a bit to make a loaf of bread. So you're probably asking, why am I going through all this trouble to make one loaf of bread? Well, on my channel, I experiment a lot with a lot of different things. I mean, I've grown sorghum, I've grown peanuts, I've grown a lot of different things just to see if I can do it. And I've done it for fun. And so now this is also an experiment. This is to see if I can go from start to finish. If I can go from the grain, from seeds to growing this over winter, it takes about 7 months, 7 or 8 months. And this will be ready for harvest, next spring. And I'll have to mill it and then bake it. But the reality is I have the space now. I didn't used to have the space. So because I have 4.5 acres, I can grow as much of this as I want. And it's not something I'm probably going to do on a regular basis, but it's a skill that I need to know that's in my back pocket, something that I can do if I need to. We don't know how crazy things are going to get with the economy. Things are already crazy. And if I have to go out and plant enough to have bread for me and my family, then that's what I'll do. So that's the final. That's the last thing that I'm going to show you guys today. I'm going to give you guys a video on what's going on in here, and that's probably going to be next week or later this week. I'm not sure. I usually do one video a week in the winter. I do Mondays and Thursdays during the summer, but because there's been so much happening, I've been continuing to give you guys 2 videos a week, and because you guys have been responding by watching and liking and sharing, and it is very much appreciated. You guys don't know how much I appreciate your support. So right now, I tell you guys all the time, I don't like to keep you. I know you guys are busy, you have lots to do, so I'm going to let you go. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. But remember, when you grow your own food, you'll always know where it comes from. This is the Frugal Gardener, and I'll catch you guys in a few days with a new video. Get off the couch, go out and grow something. See you soon.